Hello and welcome back to Stream On. This is the Stream On Holiday Spectacular.
I love a spectacular.
I was going to go with episode, but screw it. We're getting spectacular, Eila.
It's the holidays. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And we're including Thanksgiving and Kwanzaa
Oh,
and
we are. I didn't know about Thanksgiving. I didn't get.
Festivus. It's a holiday spectacular. I'm just saying we're taking off anything that binds us about talking strictly about Christmas. Anything you want to talk about, it's on the table as long as it's holiday related.
Okay, well, I didn't know these rules. I stuck very specifically to television, but that's okay.
You didn't know these rules because I just said them off the top of my head. I
Yeah,
didn't
this
come
is
here
what
with
we
an
agreed
agenda.
to.
Well,
All
uh,
right,
yeah.
I'll go with it though. That's okay.
Okay. What did you have in mind? What is paramount in your mind when I say holiday episode?
Okay, well, I have to backtrack a little bit because, when we decided to do this, I thought this is going to be great. So first of all, I realized I don't remember very many holiday episodes. I thought I, I had to do some
Right.
research, but it's all Christmas. There's very little anything else, any other holidays out there.
Yeah, Hollywood loves Christmas.
They need to
It's
catch up with the other holidays. As someone
they
who,
do.
is not Catholic or Christian or,
Mm.
any of that, Christmas meant very little to me growing up. It was just fun because
Right.
we had a step parent who celebrated Christmas. So that was great fun. We got to have a tree, but none of the religious stuff. So that was the best of both worlds.
That step parent was doing the Lord's work, Isla.
I know.
What a fun
Yeah.
holiday for a kid. It's you get the most presents.
Oh, yeah. Well, Hanukkah's pretty great with presents because, my
It
mother did
is,
it
but
right.
yeah,
I didn't get bad presents, and we did the full 8 days.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. There was a picture of me on Christmas, and I wish I still had it because I put it up. It's hysterical. But it was a young me. I think I'm like 9 years old, and I'm sitting under the Christmas tree, and I'm surrounded by presents. It's the most presents I ever got.
Oh.
And my face is just like
You were
totally
mad?
glum. No, just like, Mom, come on. And I'm just, you spoiled brat. Like,
Oh,
perk
wow.
up. Look at all those. And when I think of the best Christmas present Christmases I've ever had, that's right up there at the top.
Well, that is where Christmas beats Hanukkah because you get them all at once. You don't have to
You
wait.
do.
That's pretty great.
All right,
Oh,
before we move on, was there one Christmas gift as a kid that stands out? The best Christmas gift you ever got?
um, I'm embarrassed to say it now because I wouldn't wear it now, but a rabbit fur jacket was just, I
Oh, well, you were
was,
styling back then,
I
though.
was, I was.
That is awesome. Oh, I like that. I like that for
But
you.
I wouldn't buy fur at this point in my life.
Right. Of course. We are anti. We're pro animal, I should say. We're not
Yeah,
anti
that's right.
people.
That's right.
Yeah. I think
How
mine
about you?
was it was I think 1977. I was a little kid. I was like 6 and I got a Shogun Warrior, they were called. It was like 3 feet tall and it was like a robot and he shot missiles out of his hand and the other hand was a fist.
Wow.
And at the time I was a little too young to really understand how cool it was. And I went looking for it because I'm like, oh, I want to see pictures of it. And now they routinely go for like $300 in decent condition. But like as a kid, it was just one of those great things that I've been chasing that gift ever since, Isla.
Well, I taught myself a very important Christmas lesson one year. I went snooping and I found my gifts. So I knew everything I was getting, and it was such a letdown. So now I never want any spoilers for anything. I never want to know ahead of time because
That's
it's so fun.
Oh, that's funny. I did the same thing. Only like one or two Christmases I did that, and I was sorely disappointed. 'Cause I even took out and played with certain things
Oh my
and
God.
then put them away again. And when I got them,
That's
it was
bold.
so anticlimactic.
Right. Right? You ruined it for yourself. I can't
You
believe
really
that you
did.
might have done it more than once, though, having had that
Well,
experience.
you know what it was? It was searching for because I really wanted an Atari 2600, and I
Oh.
think for two Christmases I was like, well, maybe they got it this time, and I went and I saw these other things, and I played.
So kids out there,
Yeah,
don't do that. You'll be disappointed.
I may have to change the not set for kids setting on YouTube.
I think we're okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So should
Okay.
we jump in? Do you have any classics or did you have something else that you wanted to say before we jump in?
No, not at all. Let's jump.
So for me, the one thing that stands out in my mind, it must have made a really big impression on me as a kid, is the Happy Days episode where Fonzie is
Fonzie.
invited to Christmas and then he says no, he has plans. I don't know why he does this, but then Richie catches him eating Chef Boyardee.
Oh, it's so
Oh,
good. It's
I
so
know.
good. And it's season one of Happy Days. It's early Happy Days. And
Yeah.
early Happy Days, I think people forget thinking about Happy Days. Early Happy Days was different from the rest of Happy Days. It was
Yeah.
like much more somber, much more slice of life, almost more in common with the kind of what was it, Love American Style that
Mhm.
birthed it than it had with the Happy Days later,
What? Okay. Yeah.
season two on or whatever.
Right.
But oh, that's such a downbeat but sweet hearted episode. Oh, I love that.
And
And
then Richie
Mr.
makes up
C.
some excuse, so Fonzie has to stay with them.
That's right. That's great. And I think he keeps saying like, I gotta go cross
Get a
town or
train or
whatever.
something, or
And
yeah, get
and
a
he's
bus.
like, I'll go a little later. And then he
Yeah,
like keeps saying that is so sweet. You want to
yeah,
hear my Arthur Fonzarelli?
of course.
My favorite thing about the Fonz was he was always like laying down the law about something, almost like a PSA. And so this is my Arthur Fonzarelli. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Libraries are cool.
For someone who is supposedly so cool, he liked a lot of nerdy stuff.
He really did. Oh, he was the best of us. He was the best of us.
And then
Um,
Happy Days, you're right. Season one was different, and then it took a turn, and it was really barely based in the 50s. They kind of dropped that, and everyone had
yeah.
thinking 70s hairdos, and they didn't really care about that so much anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true. Um, Mr. C was great in that episode
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they build him up and he's a little bit of an icy guy. He's kind of, but yeah, that episode is great. It won't surprise you. Happy Days is at the top of my list.
The same episode.
Yep. But I love hopping around. I love all of these things. Let's go Mary Tyler Moore show.
Okay, I sort
Season
of remember it, but not that well.
season one. It's called Christmas and the Hard Luck Kid 2. I think Christmas and the Hard Luck Kid was a name of an episode of That Girl.
Oh,
So I guess this was two. Mary is stuck in the office on Christmas Eve. Christmas is a big deal for her. She decorates her entire desk. She has everything. At one point, Lou Grant is like, oh, I'm surprised you don't have like a nativity set. And she pulls out her drawer and he goes, wow, look at that. But every year she goes home and has this like Norman Rockwell Christmas with her family. Of course, she has to work Christmas Eve. She ends up chatting with the one guy who's still working, and it's Charlie out at the transmitter.
uh-huh.
And at some point, she's on the phone with Rhoda, and she thinks someone's coming up the elevator to like murder her or something. And it's Lou, it's Murray, Ted. They all come back to spend that night with her. It's so sweet.
Did you think they had an answer for it when they got home with their family?
Yeah, I was like, why didn't you bring your
It
significant
really.
others?
Murray, his wife, probably wasn't happy about that.
No, well, also Murray was secretly in love with Mary.
Yeah, that's right.
So
I think at some point they considered having the Murray character be gay, but then they decided that was too controversial back then.
his performance and mannerisms, it's just he's tailor made for being the gay guy in the office.
I know, it's true.
Um, but they were already breaking down enough boundaries as far as a single woman in the workplace and the sexual politics of that. Like they couldn't have fought that that other front.
Yeah, I guess. And Rhoda could have come. She wasn't celebrating Christmas.
No, well, Rhoda ended up coming, but she doesn't make it onto the episode at the
Oh,
end. She's just, we see her earlier when they exchange gifts. She gets a microwave or a rotisserie for Mary with
oh.
her store discount.
Oh, right, because she had such a cool job. She was a window dresser. Remember
She
that?
did. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. I loved Rhoda. She was
Me too.
so gorgeous, as was Phyllis.
I know. I know. I love the Rhoda spinoff. I did not love the Phyllis spinoff. That wasn't good.
You know what's funny is I loved the Phyllis spinoff.
You did?
And the Rhoda, I liked Rhoda. I just didn't like any of the other characters around her.
You didn't like
Like
Brenda?
I liked Brenda. I didn't like Joe.
Well, Joe didn't last long.
I don't know. He
He
was a
was
little
only
too
in
long
season
for
one,
mine.
I think. He was a real
Um,
sourpuss. I don't know
he
why she
was
married him.
quite the sourpuss. Yeah.
Kind of mean.
Yeah. What else you got?
Okay, I have, well, the pilot of The Simpsons is a Christmas episode.
Is it really?
Yes, and it actually aired on my birthday, the year that it came out.
Yay.
I have a December birthday, and
Mm.
Homer doesn't get a bonus at work or something like that, so he needs extra money for Christmas, and he becomes a department store Santa.
Oh, that's perfect.
But his pay turns out to be so little that he still can't afford to get the gifts. But then he finds the dog, Santa's little helper.
Oh, I remember Santa's Little
Yes.
Helper.
And the family says it's the best gift they ever got. And it's such a sweet episode, but still with, the edge of The Simpsons, especially the pilot.
Well, I was going to say the early Simpsons don't see. I thought Santa's Little Helper was later, but it's because didn't the early Simpsons look almost eerily like they did on the Tracy Ullman show,
Yeah,
where they're still
they,
not quite
right. They were not as,
well drawn.
finely drawn, right?
Yeah.
They were looser. And
Okay.
the voices were also a little bit different.
Yeah.
Homer
Yeah.
before was different.
Mm-hmm.
And Marge too was a little different.
Right. Wasn't Santa's Little Helper? Wasn't he like a disused greyhound or something that they
Yeah,
had no more use for?
exactly. He was being discarded. So
Oh wow,
yeah.
And I love that they call him Santa's Little Helper. They never abbreviate it.
No, I know.
Hey, Santa's Little Helper. It's like always. That's great. Oh, I love that. Wow, that's cool. I thought Santa's Little Helper was way later in
Oh, no.
Just shows you they came out of the gate strong.
That was the change from the Tracy Ullman show. They added a dog.
Right.
At least it wasn't a Martian like on the Brady Bunch cartoon.
Oh God. You know what? You mentioned this Brady Bunch episode where Carol loses her voice on Christmas and Cindy wishes to Santa. She on a department store Santa, which will be a refrain, I'm sure, in this episode. We talked in derogatory terms about it when we did our Very Brady Christmas episode last
Yeah.
episode. But it really is a wonderful snapshot of first season Brady Bunch and all the trappings
Yeah.
thereof.
No, I like everything about it except when Carol sings the song and it gets very holy at the end. I don't like that.
That's a Florence Henderson problem. That's not a Brady Bunch problem for you.
Maybe. I don't know. But I have no problem with Florence Henderson, for the record.
Okay. Well, no song she ever sings is ever going to top her performance of that old black magic on the Paul Lynde Halloween special. That is magic.
When she and Maureen McCormick sing Together Wherever We Go, dressed as hobos, that's pretty close. Come on.
That is fantastic. In fact, that whole episode, that like talent show episode is just fire with the Bradys and Greg with his acoustic guitar and the feather and
right, the stuff coming down.
So good. That's so good.
A classic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was on my list, that Brady Bunch. Not because I like it, but just because it's one of the most memorable Christmas episodes.
It really is. And it's the only season of them in the 60s. It's 69. Although we know the 60s went right up against 71.
Yeah.
Probably. Decades don't always end cleanly. But yeah, that is just and seeing what Christmas looked like back then.
That's the thing, right?
Trappings.
Yeah. Although very white Christmas. This is a town that had no diversity.
White/white bread Christmas
So
for
yeah, so
sure.
Christmas didn't look like this for everybody, but this is, a slice of what Christmas looked like back then.
It really is. It really is. White Christmas wise, and speaking of a '60s snapshot, I put down the Christmas Waltz episode of Mad Men.
I have not watched Mad Men yet.
Any of it?
The pilot, but
Oh,
I know it's on my list now that I think it's on Netflix. I want to go and just binge it.
you know what? I want to thank you because you've just freed me from any guilt I have for not watching anything you've suggested to me.
Okay, good.
I am now absolved until you watch all of Mad Men. And you know what? I envy you because you have that ahead of you
Yeah.
and you're absolutely going to love it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
But
recently binged Gilmore Girls. I had never seen it, and oh, what a treat to watch it all at once.
my wife and I just rewatched all of Gilmore Girls. Why don't we do that next week?
Yes.
Let's do that
Okay.
because we it had been a while since we did it. I think we do it every 4 years or so. It's yeah, it is really good. That's one of the best rewatch series ever.
It really, yeah, it holds up.
There's so
I
much
felt,
there and so much to talk about.
and I thought going in, is it gonna not work for me because I didn't watch it in the time that it took place? Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it
Okay.
always holds up. And we even watched the reboot after it again.
Me too. I watched it all. I watched it
Yeah.
as if it were part of the original.
Right, right. Oh, we are going to have such a field day with it. I love that we're both coming to something fresh where it's a major time investment and we've both
Yeah,
already just made it. That's
that's
great.
good. Yeah,
And it's a good winter show. Like
that's
there's
true.
so much, oh my God, snow is coming. You know, that
Yeah.
kind of, yeah,
All right,
uh,
good. So now we're set for next week.
we're set. But just very quickly, then Mad Men, and I'm not going to go in depth at all. But the two greatest characters on Mad Men, in my opinion, are Don Draper, played by John Hamm, and the beautiful Christina Hendricks as Joan. And that episode has a fantastic scene between the two of them. And they don't get many alone together, but that's a good one. But just talking about the trappings of the '60s and getting the Christmas party vibe, and they're in bars, they're in the office. It's kind of a magical episode. It's a dark episode too, though. It's perfectly counterbalanced between dark and light. And yeah, so pay attention to that episode.
Okay,
Season
I
three,
will.
whatever it is, I don't know what, but magic. What else you got?
I have, well, of course, Seinfeld.
Oh, Festivus.
Festivus, never to be, sentimental, which I appreciate. They created their own holiday, Festivus, which is
More to the
hilarious.
point, Jerry Stiller's Mr. Costanza created it.
Oh, so funny. He was so brilliant on that. And King of Queens. Two similar but different characters.
Yes. Did you watch Ben Stiller's documentary about Stiller and
Yes,
Mira?
I did.
I did too. This is not a failing of the main thrust of it, which was Stiller and Mira, but I
Mhm.
thought we'd get a little bit more in the weeds on Ben and his wife's. They break up and then the pandemic, they get back together. They kind of teased that a little too much
Uh-huh.
ahead of the documentary for what we actually got delivered.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that we got to see her because, you know, she doesn't work as much as he does. And, she came
Right.
across really, really well. Really
I
cool.
love her. She did come across, and we're back to Marsha Brady.
That's right. And she was
I,
brilliant as Marsha Brady.
so brilliant. She's such a good
Remember?
actress.
She really is. At the time, that's all anyone could talk about with that movie, how it was like watching Maureen McCormick. She was so good.
Absolutely. And she's great in Dodgeball, also with Ben Stiller, but it's great. Vince Vaughn is the love interest, not Ben. So but she's got such a wonderful quality. There's an innocence to her at the same time that there's a little bit of a world weariness to her. Like I wish she got meteor stuff to do or was drawn to meteor stuff.
Yeah, she is, a classic mean girl in The Craft. She's wonderful in
Oh,
that.
she is. You're right. Oh, that's great.
No, she's great. I wonder if she just stepped away to raise kids. Maybe
That happens all too often. It's always
it does.
upon. the woman, to
I,
do that.
I know, but she just seems like someone you'd want to hang with. And their
Yeah.
kids too seem great.
Their kids seem fantastic. He learned that he was away an awful lot, talking to his kids, like way more. It's so funny how he thought he was making an effort to
Right.
be not like Jerry Stiller and Amira growing up, where they didn't spend a lot of time. He made the same effort they did, it seemed, and it wasn't enough. And it gave him an insight
Yeah.
into his parents that they tried, but what can you do if you want this
Right.
life?
Yeah. Right. It requires a lot of time away.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something. One of the, we recently moved into this apartment. We've been settled now for a little over a month. And one of the first apartments that I went to see was on the old block of Stiller and Mira on the Upper
Oh,
West
good.
Side. And I was just like, oh my God, I love it here. And it's like we used to live on a different part of the Upper West Side, up on 93rd, but now in the 70s, it's like perfect for us. But anyway, long story short, that connection made me be like, oh, I got to live where Stiller and Mira live. I'm gonna get a bottle of Blue Nun, do it up right.
And what was so interesting to me too is that, he played these two now iconic TV characters, and he was really nothing like either of them. He was quiet and, non-explosive, and these men, would
Right.
just erupt.
His character in real life was the most, I think, like the character he portrayed in one of my favorite NYC films, The Taking of Pelham 123. This like understated
Right.
Rico was his name,
Yeah.
just kind of sardonic, like very, very glib, kind of easy, even keeled. And Mira was the talent, if you will,
Right.
in that partnership. And Jerry kind of almost pushed her into doing that.
She didn't really want to do comedy.
She was a serious actress and
Yeah.
could have been one of the greats of all time, I'm
Yeah.
sure. And she still was, even partially. But everything from like Fame to, I
She's
remember her
great in Fame.
so good on Fame.
That scene she has with Leroy in the hospital. Oh my gosh, so good.
Magical,
Yeah.
magical. She
I,
could do anything. That's
yeah.
a gift. She had a little of that magic that Elaine May had,
Hmm.
where comedy just comes easy and drama, it comes just as easy. It's very
Right.
rare.
She was in the original House of Blue Leaves when it was off Broadway.
Yes. And then when I was coming up, I remember seeing it on PBS and
Yeah.
watching the production with Ben as
So
the kind of grown altar boy kind of character.
that was his breakthrough. That was really his first big
He's
thing.
so good in that.
The whole thing was
Yeah,
incredible. John Mahoney.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Forget. I can't see any other character in that role but John Mahoney. That's
I
it.
know.
He
But
is
then
that
Ben Stiller did a revival of it where he played that
where he
character.
played him. I'll have to see that at some point. I hope they tape that.
Me too. It's like he grew up with that play, and so he just went through all this.
Yeah. Yeah, and they show a thing of John Guare and him when Ben is like a little tyke, and they're having this short film together, this comedic thing
Yeah.
with the snow all around them, like
I,
classic NYC. Oh, it's gorgeous. So anyway, Frank Costanza.
yes, Festivus. I know we've turned this into an episode about the Stiller and Miller documentary, but that's okay because it's so good.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Yes, Festivus. I mean, that certainly, it deserves being noted just because people who didn't watch Seinfeld, everyone knows Festivus.
Yes, it's true, and it does a few things because it's funny on its own, and they created this holiday and it's comical, but it speaks volumes to and gives backstory to why George is who George is. He grew up under this oppressive thumb of his parents, both of them overbearing in different ways and sometimes the same way. And Festivus is a microcosm of that.
And
Festivus,
right,
it
they
ruined
just
him.
create their own reality.
They do. There's inside the Costanza home and outside the Costanza home, and they're radically different.
Oh my gosh. I love when the boss says, "Why did you give me a fake Christmas gift?" And he says, "Well, I was afraid I'd be persecuted for my beliefs." And he's like, and then he says, "My parents created the holiday. I can prove it if I have to."
And I love that he has to prove it. And he brings him, I think his name is Kruger.
Yes.
And Mr. Costanza keeps calling him Cougar. It's It's crazy. It's crazy. And Kruger loves seeing George put through his paces. He's like, no,
Yeah.
I'd like to see the feats of strength.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So that's an absolute classic.
That is a classic, but also I just want to point out Seinfeld had a few great Christmas episodes.
So
There's
remind me.
there's one that's called, I think, or not called probably, but it includes the red dot, which is Elaine has this sweater with a red dot on it, and like George takes it and regifts it to this maid who he has sex with, I
Yes.
think.
Right, right, right.
And he's like, "Yeah, she'll never notice it," and she's like, "Oh, this is great. What is this?" Like that's
Yeah.
always the. And then there's one where Elaine Kramer takes her picture for her
Yeah.
holiday
I
card,
just remembered
and
this.
it's the nipple reveal picture.
Right. Yes.
She sends it to everybody, some of whom take it as an overture for
Right.
sex.
Some
And
are her nieces and nephews.
oh my God, yes, nieces and nephews. And then the final one I'll bring up is Kramer works as a mall Santa.
He does?
He does. And I think
Is Mickey?
Mickey is the
Yeah.
elf. He's
Okay.
like his sidekick. And at one point, it's great. There's like a Miracle on 34th Street callback where he's got some kid on his, and it's like, oh, she doesn't speak English. And he's like, Santa speaks the language of all children. Shink dip it, dip it. He just talks gibberish. Yeah, Seinfeld wasn't shy around a holiday episode. I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. All right, what do you have? Give
Uh,
me one.
there is an episode of Cheers that I love, and it's a Thanksgiving orphans episode.
Okay.
And it's everyone, for some reason, their plans fall through or whatever. It's a potluck dinner at Carla's, and everybody brings a meal or something. Norm has this like 800-pound turkey that just will not cook. So they're all out sitting around the table. All the sides are getting colder and colder, and the tension in the room keeps building and building and building. And they finally end up having a food fight.
Yes, I
And
remember.
the end of the which was controversial because people are like, hey, there's a health, there's a poor people food crisis in this country.
Yeah.
And but anyway, they all the kind of final denouement of the episode is they're all sitting around the table covered in food, eating what's left and occasionally off each other. And just like, oh, that's great. And it's such a sweet, like the pressure has been released and they're all together in their surrogate family mode. And it was a sweet, that's I think my favorite Thanksgiving episode of any series. Although Friends had a few.
You just reminded me that Cheers also had a Christmas episode where Sam and Diane, when they were going to be married, they bought a house together. And the family that they bought from wanted to spend one last Christmas in the house.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
that? They let them and it turned into a disaster.
That's
And they
right.
all out.
That's right. Is that the one where either Sam or Diane or both of them kind of not reminisce but premonice of
Yes.
like down
Flash
the
forward
road they'll be
of them
older?
old
Oh,
dancing. Yeah.
those are some of my favorite scenes in the entire series. They're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's a
then
good one.
bittersweet because we know they never really
They
got
never do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have, but you know what? Sam and the bar were really married together as they punctuated.
She was leaving the show, so what could they do?
Yeah. Well, when Troop Beverly Hills calls, you got to answer the call.
Now, listen, you may make fun, but I watched that movie a whole lot of times.
All
It
right.
was always
All
on.
right. I
And
won't
Tori
throw
Spelling
shade.
was in it as one of the kids. So
Tori Spelling is?
Oh yeah, she's one of those kids.
Okay, I know what I'm watching tonight.
Ah,
I'm gonna do that backed with the what the cheerleader mother killer thing.
oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. The Holly Hunter.
Yeah, it's a 1-2 punch.
All right. Well, I have one that is going to speak to you, even if you don't know it. Abbott Elementary. Do you know where I'm going with this?
I do not.
You? Okay. I
I
think it was just last year. They have a Christmas episode, and it doesn't even matter what happens in the episode because the cold opening is the teachers introducing their students to the song Christmas in Hollis.
Oh, are
And
you
the
serious?
students don't know this song, and they're like, can we just sing Ariana Grande? And the teachers are like, no. It is brilliant.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. If anyone listening does not know, I was born and raised in Hollis, Queens. It's the reason I changed my name.
Yeah.
That is amazing. But I will admit to you, I used to do an internet show called Teacher's Lounge. We pitched it everywhere. We pitched it for years. And by the time we finally got on the air, we didn't get as good a deal as we wanted. But by the time we reached fruition with the series, there were all kinds of shows already out, one of which was Abbott Elementary, and it made me sick to my stomach. And
Okay.
so I can't watch a lot of shows
All
set
right.
in grammar school or elementary school,
All
but
right.
I do appreciate that cold open. That is awesome.
Yeah, that was the best.
Oof. All right. I'm going somber again.
Okay.
Big, big, big series for me coming up. So much so that on Pop Culture Graveyard, I did a two-parter on this show, MASH.
Okay.
It is an episode from like 1980. So, towards the end of the series, Death Takes a Holiday, it's called. And Charles Emerson Winchester III, played by David Ogden Stiers, he is, this guy from a rich family, and his family has a tradition where they give chocolate to less fortunate every season, and it remains anonymous. He does that for some orphanage, and he finds out that the chocolate winds up on the black market. And he's incensed and he confronts the guy at the orphanage. He explains to him that it's silly to give kids chocolate when they've had no dinner. And
Mm.
so he sold the chocolate to give them all these things they have, and he feels terrible. But Klinger overhears this, and he later has this lovely moment with Charles, and the two of them become friends. And that's juxtaposed with BJ, Hawkeye, and Hot Lips in the operating room, delaying the death of a soldier who's dying just so that his family doesn't have to see that he dies on Christmas.
Ugh,
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
MASH always hits hard.
Yeah. I see your mash and I'm going to raise you
Mm.
with All in the Family. Let
Oof.
me say the name Beverly LaSalle. What does that mean to you?
All good things.
All right. So, Beverly, for those who might not know, was a character on All in the Family that was truly groundbreaking. It was at the time, she called herself a female impersonator.
Right, she had to.
Right.
There was no
Archie,
other word for it, really, at the time.
right. Right. Archie saved her life in the back because he drove a cab part time. And so he had to give her mouth to mouth and saved her life. Who knew Archie knew CPR? So then she comes to the house to thank him, and Archie still thinks that this is, a biological woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so she reveals that she's a female impersonator, and Edith, the whole family falls in love with her, even Archie.
Yeah,
So
much to
then,
his chagrin.
right. Even though he's deeply embarrassed when, his friends at the bar, he doesn't want them to find out that this is
Right.
actually a man. Okay, so let's fast forward. Beverly comes back for a Christmas episode and comes back to see Edith and Archie and is walking down, I think it might be Queens Boulevard.
That
We don't
sounds
see
right.
it, but Rob Reiner's character, Mike, was with her, and she gets gay bashed and actually ends up dying. And Edith I don't know if it actually happened on Christmas, but it was at Christmas time. And Edith loses faith and doesn't want to celebrate Christmas anymore.
That's right. That's
Now
right.
that,
And it's not just like that's towards the end of the episode.
oh no, this is
Edith's crisis of faith goes for a long
yeah.
time.
And it's just brilliant that they tackled a subject like that and they did it with such care. It was never Beverly was never the butt of the joke. It was always Archie.
Right. And even the term gay bashing didn't exist yet.
Oh,
Like,
really? Wow.
no, it was more of
Like
like
a late
mid
seven?
to late 80s.
What?
I
Really?
remember that because it was like something that skinheads were doing when I
Yeah.
was coming up in high school.
Yeah.
And it was frightening. But like back then, that was just, the hate crimes that would go on, like
Right.
they often resulted in death.
Right. Yeah. And people weren't as outraged as they should have been.
Right. And I applaud the show for not pulling back and having her somehow survive it and just have like a black eye or
Yeah.
something.
Right. Oh
Like
no.
that's how you make an impact. And they're like, oh, I think they went too far. Really? Because people die all the time from this, you know?
And
Let
this was
people
a
know.
character that audiences loved. So it's they couldn't do it with Edith because then they have no show, but it was almost like that.
Right. And that reminds me also of they did another thing with a character. Forgive me for not remembering the character's name, but he was like a real manly man. He played a guy on the soap operas called Asa Buchanan. I forget uh, what soap opera he was on, but it was an ABC show because I watched it with my sister all the time. And he
Oh,
was gay.
yes. Was it Bill Carey, who was Asa Buchanan on One Life to Live?
One Life to Live. Thank you. Amazing. And I remember Archie like holds this guy up as this like paragon of maleness and like, almost John Wayne in his world. And it is awesome
Completely.
the way that his definition of what's a guy is shattered by the end of it, because this is a guy he would not want to mess with. And
Right.
it's great for Archie to be exposed to all of these things we're talking about. Because he
Absolutely. And then,
evolves. They let him evolve.
right. Yeah. Right. Do you remember the episode where it was another soap icon? It was Luke from General Hospital, Anthony Geary. He was on, I think he was a draft dodger, right? And then Archie's friend comes, whose son was killed in Vietnam.
I I don't remember that being Tony Geary though.
It might not have been, but
Okay, good. I
but it might. He was on
okay.
the show in some capacity.
Oh,
I
I
thought
love that he was
that,
on it. I'll look
but I
for him.
could
I
be
loved
wrong.
Luke.
But anyway, his friend says, "I wish," because Archie's whole point was your son gave his life, and this guy, we're going to let him here. And he said, "I'm honored to share my table with him." And I think this is a holiday episode. It might be
You're
Thanksgiving
right. You're right.
because I wish my son had done the same thing. I wish he were here to celebrate with.
Yeah, because his son would have loved this guy.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't saying that people who fought in the war made a bad decision. It was just there's room for both points of
Y-
view.
You're so right. It didn't editorialize. It didn't shove one thing down the audience throat. It let the audience just see both sides of an issue.
Yeah.
It was really good that way. One more thing that helped Archie. Now Archie doesn't become, this well-rounded Leo Biscaglia kind of Renaissance man, but Archie becomes a guy who has warmth in his heart and accepts, my beloved Danielle Brisbois,
Yeah. Oh,
and
God.
can be a single parent to her
To
or an
a
influence.
Jewish niece.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, all good.
Yes. Yeah.
What else
I
you got?
Okay, what else? I have The Office.
Yes.
So they have many Christmas episodes, but the one that I like is when Phyllis wants to be Santa. And Michael, it makes him crazy because he always has to be Santa.
The same reason he won't let his black coworker wear the hat, like in an earlier episode. Like it's just not. He has this picture in his head of what Santa is, and it can't
Right.
veer from that.
Right. So, I mean, The Office is just a great show.
I'm going to rattle off a few.
Yes,
This is
please.
how many Office Christmas episodes there are: Christmas Party, A Benihana Christmas, parts 1 and 2, Moroccan Christmas, Secret Santa, Classy Christmas, parts 1 and 2, Christmas Wishes, and Dwight Christmas.
Oh,
They're all good. My least favorite character on that show is Michael.
really?
I really dislike him. And for some reason, he gets to shine in all the Office Christmas episodes. They're really good.
Yeah.
But that one does stick out. I think I like maybe the first one because it's where, they all get Secret Santa and Jim gets Pam and he gives her this little teapot and he puts all these personal items inside of it, like
Yeah.
inside jokes. And he's so in love with her. He puts a card in telling her his feelings. He later steals it out. But then they start swapping gifts. It's just, that's a really sweet
Yeah.
little episode, you
Yeah.
know?
There's
Um,
one later that's similar, not as good, but Andy gets Erin and he does the
right.
12 days of Christmas for her.
Oh, and she's terrorized and traumatized by it.
Yeah.
There's
Until
like,
the
yeah, like all the swans
end,
attack her.
right?
It's great. And she's like crying and she's like, whoever put the swans in my car? Like, oh man. Here's one for you. You said The Office, so I'm going Parks and Rec.
Okay. I don't remember any Christmas episodes, so remind me.
Citizen Nope, it's called, I believe.
Okay.
Leslie has been suspended for 2 weeks because of a little mini scandal. And the office that she works in, she always gives like outrageously thoughtful gifts. And so we see each of them opening their gifts from her, and it's like spot on, perfect for everything. And Nick Offerman's character is like, we have got to address this imbalance with Leslie. We want to do something for her. And so they build her an exact replica of the Parks and Rec office in gingerbread form. They all set about doing it. It's like really sweet. And the second part of their thing for her is they announced they're going to help her run for councilwoman, which she will later, I believe, win. But it's such a like, she's one of my favorite characters on television because she's got this indomitable spirit.
Yeah.
And unlike a lot of people I've saw, like Michael or whatever, like she's good-hearted and acts always out of the goodness of her heart.
And she's good
That's
at her job too.
she's good at her job. And I tell you something, say what you want about Kim Kardashian. She was right about one thing. Nobody wants to work anymore.
Mm. Did she say that?
She literally said that. But I'm saying it in jest, but I'm saying that like no one likes their job anymore. I mean, you've got a lot of Leslie Knope in you as far as I'm concerned.
I do?
Yeah, you do. You're an overachiever. You get shit done. You do it with a smile. And you are just sunshine and rainbows, Isla.
And I love my job.
There it is. There it is. So yeah, that's a
Thank-
sweet episode.
All right. Well, this is a modern classic, South Park, Mr. Hanky. Come on.
I will admit, I've seen a lot of episodes once, but I'm not a big South Park guy. It gets into the bathroom humor too much for me, so
Well,
it's
this
not
is
my
the
thing.
Christmas poo, so this is, yeah, exactly.
There it
That's
is.
the humor, but it's iconic.
Okay. Now,
And
is there a Black Santa that's associated
there
with
might,
South Park?
is it Isaac Hayes? Is it Chef, maybe? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
that sounds right. Chocolate salty balls, I believe, is his
Yes,
specialty.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think South Park is brilliant in their commentary on, just what's happening.
Yeah, great
And they
satire.
have, absolutely, they have balls that no one else has. And
Hmm.
I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, yeah,
And in
especially
the movie,
now.
yes, right. They're the only ones who are really taking on Trump in the way that they are. And I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
All right, I'm gonna go 30 Rock Christmas special.
Okay, remind me.
I am not a big 30 Rock guy, but certain episodes jump out at me. This is one. You will probably know this episode because you're a big theater person.
Yeah.
Jack's mother, played by Elaine Stritch, is brilliant. He hits her with his car. He goes down to see her in like her fancy schmancy old folks home in like Miami or whatever. He showers her with presents, all of which she deems adequate. And then he is able to get back to his life where he was going to have just some, kind of Playboy after dark Christmas. Instead, he's backing out and he hits his mother. And so he breaks her hip and she gets a titanium hip. And he's like, she's going to be stronger than ever before. And she ends up having to live with him because some quack doctor told her that being with family is better. And so to get away from his mother, he forces everyone in the office to stay because they're contractually obligated and makes them put on a Christmas special. And at the same time they're all doing that, Lemon's character is kind of shanghaiing everyone to give presents to the less fortunate. And she goes above and beyond and gets a whole ton of presents to bring to this poor family in a very dangerous neighborhood. She goes there with Tracy and a couple of his backup men. and she thinks it's a scam because two guys open the door and they take all the crap and they slam it in her face. And later they show that children do live there, but it is just a really well balanced episode. And at the end, Jack and his mother have this lovely moment where they're sitting at the piano and they're singing. And it's really it's one of my favorite episodes of an otherwise pretty sarcastic and downbeat show, I would say.
But how great is Tracy Morgan on that show?
If that
Hilarious.
show didn't exist, I don't know that we'd all know Tracy Morgan as well as we did. Like
In the
it,
way that we do, right? He didn't
it
shine
mi-
on Saturday Night Live
he
in the
didn't
way that he did
shine.
on this show.
Yes, and I've loved him for years. He used to do these guest spots on Martin, which is a show I love.
Oh, really?
And his name was Hustle Man, and he used to like do all these weird things, like play like a little toy saxophone, and he always had some scheme or another. He was, great on SNL, and I'm Brian Fellows, like,
Yeah.
but he never was celebrated. Like 30 Rock celebrated all the ways he's weird and made it beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's the best showcase for
It
almost
really
anyone.
is. Yeah, and that SNL show within the show is
Yeah.
named the Tracy Morgan Show or whatever.
Right.
How great is
So
that?
if you love Martin, I will tell you, as a kid, I was a geeky theater kid,
Hmm.
as you well know, and I had friends that did this show. It was like I guess, a concert cabaret kind of thing at Serendipity, the very famous ice cream place. And it
Sure.
was all kids who would perform and just sing songs. And I guess maybe, I don't know if it was throughout the year, but at holiday time. And anyway, the two standouts, the two best kids in this company were Tisha Campbell and Tashina Arnold.
I love that it was two. I was like, wow, it's probably going to be one of those two. And you
Both
said
of
they
them.
were both. That's
They've
great.
been lifelong friends.
That's awesome to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah.
Yeah. I,
They,
Tichina Arnold, aside from having a crush on her because she's so pretty, I just thought that her and Martin together when they were going at each other, as Pam,
uh-huh.
B2B, as like Gina's best friend. That was just the two of them together were just magical. I thought, but all of them on the show were just fantastic.
Yes, but Tashina Arnold, I mean, for me, she really shined brightest when she was on Everybody Hates Chris as the mom. She was great. Oh,
Yeah, I got to get back to that show.
it's really good.
Yeah, yeah. So such a better show than what I thought it would be when it started. When I
Mhm.
heard I'm like, oh come on, what a cash grab, what a kind of
And not at all. It was
not at
so,
all, yeah, sweet
yeah.
and funny.
All right,
Um,
more
okay,
Christmas episodes.
yeah. I got one.
Okay,
Modern Family,
which one?
Undeck the Halls.
Okay,
It's
remind me what happens.
there's a few things happens, of course, with them. One is Cam encounters the new Greensleevers, which are the carolers he founded that kicked him out. He named them the Greensleevers. Now they're the new. He and his partner, they're bringing their kid, who it's her first Christmas. She's just in the, little buggy.
Yeah.
They're waiting to see Santa. And the good Santa, the good looking Santa leaves, and this like half-ass Santa is in the chair, and they're like, we don't want him. We're gonna wait for the other. And so he ends up getting fired. And out of guilt, they bring him home, which results in a few funny things with him. But at the same time, Phil and his wife find a cigarette hole on the couch and they blame the kids and they're trying to make them, which one of you did it? We're going to punish all of you. Fine, Christmas is canceled. They pull the tree out. They don't let them do anything. And that's a funny storyline. If it turns out that the Christmas ornament was acting like a magnifying glass with the sunlight and burning the hole in it. And the best storyline in that episode is, first of all, Ed O'Neill is tearing up to Miracle on 34th Street, which he's showing his young stepson. The kid and Gloria, the gorgeous Sofia Vergara, are trying to instill some Colombian traditions.
Mhm.
And he's like, well, you're not in Colombia. So we're going to do American traditions. He ends up going from this rigid position all the way to like giving them the best Christmas ever by incorporating some of the things they do, like playing tricks, practical jokes on people, and then screaming at them "Innocente" or whatever, and fireworks and cheese balls. There's all these kind of like things that they do for a show that's kind of almost seems farcical at times. It was a great grounding episode with a lot of heart, so I like
Yeah.
that.
And it's also good for people to realize that Christmas isn't the same for everyone.
Exactly right. Like we were talking about, there's all kinds of walks of people,
Yeah.
and they're a family too, and they have their own take on it. And plus, in that episode, you get Fred Willard as Phil's dad, who they talk to over Zoom or something.
Yeah.
And I actually, when my wife and I moved to LA, we were there like a month or two, and I brought my wife as a present to see the Go-Go's at the Hollywood Bowl. And we're leaving and we're waiting for a lift or something. And who is right next to me but Fred Willard? He
Oh.
and his wife came to see the Go-Go's, and I helped him find a seat. But he was just a comedy legend. And so it was great to see him get, I love when these people, him, Elaine Stritch, when they end up getting these sweet gigs on TV shows, Jerry Stiller, whoever it is. It's really nice.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm going to go Everybody Loves Raymond.
Mm.
Lots of Christmas episodes, but there's one where he gives his parents a toaster. And do you remember this? And they return
Vaguely.
it. They don't
Yeah.
want it. And then they find out that they had the toaster engraved with all the grandchildren's names. So they have to go to the store and go through all the boxes of toasters to find that one.
Awesome. And how real is that?
Yeah.
Like returning gifts is just as much, if not more, a part of Christmas as getting gifts.
I remember my father being irritated by a gift I gave him, and we had to go to the mall that day.
That guy knows the meaning of Christmas.
Now, it probably wasn't on the actual Christmas that he got it, and it might have been a birthday gift. Father's Day, probably.
All right.
Yeah.
The result is the same.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Wow.
The damage it did to me is still the same.
But that's awesome too, because that's an ideal weird gift for people like that, like grandparents or whatever, getting anything related to the kids. Like
right. And they didn't even bother to open the box.
Wow.
And also in one of the very early episodes, he gives his parents a Fruit of the Month club, and they act like he's torturing them, and they get mad. They say, we can buy our own fruit.
That's that's a big part of Christmas. And it's we're lucky to live in a world where we can be jaded about someone giving us something for free. But if someone gives you a bad gift, it's just, what do you even do?
And let's be honest, most gifts are bad gifts.
Yeah, because most people don't really know us except for our person and the person who we choose to spend our lives with.
Exactly. So for that reason, I like Thanksgiving much more than Christmas, because you eliminate the gift giving. As the years go on, I like the giving more than the getting.
Yes.
But even that, it seems like, I don't know, a requirement, and it's not fun.
Yeah. And where do you put it all?
Well, that's the thing. I just want to get rid of stuff at this point. I don't want anything.
I used to make fun of my parents when they got up to a certain age and they're like, now look, we don't want gifts this year. I'm like, what kind of people are these? And now I'm like,
gifts, right?
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
Well, once you get like a pile of gifts that it's like, what am I going to do with all of this? It's, like, hopefully certain people aren't listening to this, but how many candles can I get? And, I don't care about I have this friend who thinks that I love candles, and I don't know why. And I don't even like candles.
People look for anything they can hang on to, especially when they don't know you. And they're like, oh, you like Pez. You're the Pez guy. And then you give this person 100 Pez dispensers. And it's like, did someone tell them I like Pez? Like, it's weird.
My grandmother had this frog collection. And I said to her once, what made you get into frogs? She said, really? People just started giving them to me. She said, I really don't care about frogs.
What made you get into frogs? Oh, God. What do I have to do to put you in a frog today?
That's right.
Yeah.
And I have one of her little frogs in my bathroom.
See, now that makes sense to hang on to something like that. That's sweet.
Even though I later learned out she didn't care, it's still a connection to her.
Yeah, well, that's even better in a weird way because then
Yeah,
it's like a jokey kind of like, oh yeah, she hated these. Yeah.
I hear.
Uh, okay, I'm gonna throw one at you.
Okay.
Classic show I loved when I was a kid, The Odd Couple.
Yes.
And again, this is much like Happy Days. The first season of The Odd Couple, very different from the others. No studio audience, which the principals would fight to get a studio audience because it felt weird to them not having them to play off of. But it's Oscar won't play Ebenezer Scrooge in a
Yeah.
charity show or whatever. And Felix is like, you're going to regret it, Oscar. These are kids. They need you to. And he's like, no. And so he's visited by three ghosts. And of course, in the end, Ebenezer, like, he has an awakening. He's like, oh, it's not too late. And he decides to play Ebenezer. But at first, they try to get Murray the cop to do it, and everyone's just too sweet, and
Yeah.
or whoever is too maniacal. So they finally get Oscar in the end. But I love The Odd Couple. Obviously on Broadway, you had Walter Matthau and Art Carney, but it's hard to envision. To me, as a kid growing up, I'm always going to see Tony Randall and Jack Klugman in those roles, tailor made.
It's a rare occasion where the TV show is better than the Broadway show, better than the movie.
Yeah,
And never it like Happy Days got worse and worse. Odd
yes.
Couple maintained its quality throughout every episode.
Yeah, so well said. And it reminds me of MASH in that way, where I can watch the show for days and days. I watch the movie and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Odd Couple marathon every New Year's Day. That and
Oh,
Twilight
that and Twilight Zone. Those were the
and the
two.
Honeymooners. That
Well, you
I
brought
go
up
back.
one that I almost just brought up.
Oh, okay. So let's jump to that.
The Honeymooners Christmas episode. Very quickly, Ralph is so excited to give Alice this little hairpin box because it's like 2,000 matches glued together. But the big selling point was that it wasn't just made in Japan, as it says on the bottom, but it was stolen from the Emperor of Japan and smuggled into this country. That's what the salesman told him. And then Alice exchanges gifts with some other woman in front of Ralph, and she gives Alice that gift. And it turns out that it wasn't smuggled out of the country, it's one of a million. And Ralph feels terrible. And he ends up giving her what Art Carney, as Ed, gave his wife, which is a statue of Napoleon, where you squeeze oranges on his head and the juice shoots out of his ears. But the
Because
great
everyone
part,
wants that.
every housewife needs that for sure in the 50s. But my favorite part of it is at the end of the episode, the great one breaks the fourth wall. He like holds back the curtain and he puts on like his robe or something, and he addresses the studio / home audience and wishes everyone a happy Christmas. He calls out Art Carney and Joyce Randolph,
And
and
you
they
get to see
all
them as themselves.
get to see them as themselves for a half a second.
Yeah.
And yeah, and wishes the audience a farewell. It's just a beautiful moment.
Yeah. No, that's fun. Well, there is that famous episode of I Love Lucy with the real Santa
Oh,
when
preach.
they all dress up as Santa for little Ricky.
Right,
And then there's that very famous shot with the four of them and then a fifth who is
right.
the actual Santa.
I Love Lucy was that rare show where they have a kid and it actually does not lose quality,
Yeah, right.
you know?
Usually the kids are like the death knell of the show, but Modern Family did that well too.
They
They
did,
had
you're right.
Joe, and that kid was a great actor.
Yeah. Yeah, it just goes to show that's the exception that proves the rule. I mean, it's
Yeah,
very rare you get a new addition to a show of any age, let alone a kid.
yeah.
And it gets better or at least maintains quality. That's rare.
Now, one of my all-time favorite shows, I couldn't remember a Christmas episode. Did Good Times have a Christmas episode? They must have.
They must have. I'm crestfallen that I don't have one on the tip of
I
my
know, I
tongue.
can't remember. But
But
Facts of Life had a Christmas episode where they went to a prison to sing Christmas carols.
That could have ended a million bad
Oh
ways.
yeah, I'm surprised they were able to maintain
Attica,
order.
Attica, Attica.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and then Blair sings "I'll be home for Christmas" to the prisoners.
Wow. You know what? She probably was fighting to get more of a Jesus song in there, but it was,
Probably. Good thing
and,
they didn't let her.
yeah. I'll tell you a show that I have always loved. That 70s show.
Yeah, that's a great show.
That had a number of Christmas episodes. Hyde's Christmas Rager, where he throws a party in his house and gets drunk enough to do the funky chicken. In Eric Foreman Christmas, which features many things, but one of which is Kevin McDonald from Kids in the Hall as the
Love
pastor getting wrapped up with Christmas bulbs. And he feels terrible about it, because he's alone trying to get someone to free him until
Yeah.
he realizes people do it because they like him. There's one called Winter, but the two best episodes, there's season one, they have the best Christmas ever, where Eric gets to throw a party in the basement. And it's like, can I throw a party in the basement? I think I'm old enough. And, Lori, his sister, is laughing. Lori, who disappeared later, like Chuck from
Right.
Happy Days. And the parents let him have the party. And then Lori spikes his punch in an effort to like bring down the party. And I'm like, that's almost you're helping him. But all the kids get drunk and Fez gets drunk and Jackie gets very emotional because of it, and Michael buys her hot rollers. Like that's the cool thing is I love the trappings of the 70s. So like all of the gifts are 70s related, and there's season 6, there's an episode simply titled Christmas where Red and Bob are dueling Santas at the mall. It's like finally it's like, Red, go home, you're scaring the kids. Because he like just is terrifying to them, and he reads them stories about Korea, people dying on Pork Chop Hill. And there's also a school party, so where I think the slops are mentioned, which is the single ladies of Point Place.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love that 70s show, and I love the Christmas episodes most of all.
What about the Golden Girls when they were held at gunpoint by a Santa?
Oh my God, that's great. That's great. Santa with a gun.
Yeah, always good.
Mm, my
All
God.
right. Any more? I think I've gone through my list.
I've gone through my list. People listening are probably a little surprised that this wasn't a Friends fest, because Friends seems to go all in. They have like 10 episodes, but they're mostly Thanksgiving, and
Just
they're
I
kind
think,
of
yeah,
I don't know. They don't
go
they don't
back to
slap.
right. I agree with you. I just think it was more of its time, and for me, it doesn't hold up as well.
Everything we talked about, I feel like sticks to your ribs in a way
Hmm.
that the Friends stuff doesn't. And I think part of the appeal of Friends was the disposable nature, was the kind of like every episode's sort of the same.
Yeah.
It's just clever dialogue and
Right.
will they, won't they?
Right.
And, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's fine, but yeah, it's not one of my favorites.
yeah. Okay. I had a lot of fun with this. I
Oh,
hope
this
you
was
did
so
too.
much fun. Yeah.
Themes are great. And
All right.
we even decided what our next episode is going to be. This was a fruitful episode.
Amazing. Yes. So I think we should think of the next, maybe Valentine's Day or something like that. The next
Ooh.
round of themed episodes.
Love is in the air. Yeah, that sounds perfect. All right.
So,
Well,
all right.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year,
Happy everything.
happy everything. That's true. I won't be defined by only what
That's
these people celebrate in the shows we just talked about.
That's right,
Happy,
because we're narrow.
yeah. Happy Passover, Happy New Year,
Happy everything. Yeah,
happy
that's
everything. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Eila.
no. See you next time.